You got it?
Yeah. Mama did a flaw. Okay, Mommy. Mama did a flaw. Okay?
Don't fall.
Ah, a flaw. Mama, a flaw, okay?
You can do it. You got it.
How do you do? How do you do?
You got it.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about prepping. And just so you know, I've been prepping for about 10 years, and been dealing with survival issues ever since I was a kid. So I used to go out into the Everglades and live off the land for a couple of weeks. I did take a firearm and a knife and sometimes fishing gear, but I just basically taught myself how to live off the land. So I've got a lifelong background in that. And I'm really coming to the prepping community today because there is a fatal flaw in the prepping concept that I see, and I wanted to address that today with you all. And so we're talking about concepts. So to me, prepping would be defined as gathering resources to be able to survive some type of social breakdown in which modern technology and conveniences weren't present. And normally what we do is, we buy stuff and store it up, toilet paper, food, whatever. And that's what we do. And so closely linked to that, I think, is the survival concept. But I think survival and prepping are two different concepts that kind of merge in some points. And so survival really entails a shorter time frame than prepping does. So mostly when people are talking about survival, you see that they're talking about a short time period, like 2 days to 4 weeks or 2 weeks. And at the end of that, hopefully you're going to be rescued. And so that's a very short period of time that we're talking about. And then when you look at prepping, you're talking about a much longer time frame. You're using survival techniques and you want to survive, but it's really a concept of a longer term thing. And so that's one of the problems I see with prepping. And so let's take food. Okay, so this is an MRE, and say you're a prepper and you set that time frame at 3 months, and so you gather resources and food that you need to survive that period of time. And the problem with that is at the end of 3 months, at 100 days, you're on your way to starving because the food has run out 10 days prior to that. And that is the problem with prepping. And so you can extend that time frame. I think ideally a lot of people shoot for a year, but there's some people that go up to 5 years, and maybe people that go up even further than that. I've seen huge stores of food before from people. But the fatal flaw in that is, say you're gathering resources to help survive yourself, your family to survive for a year. So at the end of the year, at 375 days, you're halfway on your way to starving. So that's the problem with prepping. At some point, no matter where you draw that line, you're going to run out of resources. And so very difficult to have unlimited resources. Now, some people have tried to solve that problem with things like seeds, for instance, and having livestock and those types of things. And that's more in line with a philosophy of sustainment. And there's a big difference between survival and sustainability. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today and alert you to that fact. And it's great that you're prepping. I prep, and I'm not going to stop prepping. And I think it's a great thing for people to do. But I think you also need to think about that concept of sustainment, that period when your resources run out. What are you going to do then? And so, as you prep and learn and build skills and gather these resources, I think you also need to um, gather information and skills that are in line with sustainment. So, um, today around the world, there's indigenous societies, um, people that live in on a Neolithic level. In other words, Stone Age, hunter gatherer, however you want to describe that. And so they live completely without modern technology or modern conveniences, and they do just fine. And the truth is, for 100,000 years, we have done just fine without all this stuff that we have. And probably longer than that, probably millions of years, people have lived just fine. And so those are skills that Western civilization has lost. And if you look at those hunter gatherers today, there are very few of those type of Neolithic groups living like that today. But if you expand that out a little bit, there's billions of people in the world today that live a lifestyle that's somewhere in between the hunter gatherer and modern. And so people that might have, for instance, machetes, metallurgy, those type of things, have some type of modern uh, equipment, but they don't have running water, they don't have sewer systems, they don't have electricity, they don't have access to medical facilities, they don't have a lot of access to technology. And those people live just fine. And I think that's something that's missing in the Western world. And in fact, I know it's missing. The vast majority of the people don't even know how to find water, don't know how to start a fire unless they got some charcoal lighter fluid in a lighter. And so those are the skills I think you need to concentrate on and build up. Everything you need is out there in the environment. And people have lived that way for eons. And that's a major concern for me with preppers is that all this stuff, gathering this stuff, I think is absolutely great. I, I I think everybody should be doing it, frankly, but very few people actually do. But more important than gathering resources, prepping, I think you should be working on those sustainability skills. Having cordage saved up for the event of some catastrophe is fantastic. But at some point, this cordage is going to wear out and fail. And then what do you do? And so you have to have the knowledge, excuse me, and the skills to be able to make cordage yourself. Do those things that are going to be required to help you and your family and others maybe survive. And I'd really encourage you to think about that and start building those skills. I've been doing it 4 or 5 years. I thought I could survive great in the wild. And really, the person that got me thinking about this was David Canterbury. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, yeah, I've got some gaps in my training and my skills and my knowledge, and I needed to work on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. I think it's supremely important to look above the prepping level and not do away with prepping, but use prepping philosophy with that other philosophy of sustainability. being able to continue on in any environment without all these things that we're collecting. Because at some point they're going to wear out. They're either wear out or you're going to use them all. Either way, you have to be able to know to continue living without that stuff. And the only way to do that is find that knowledge, build the skills to be able to sustain yourself as Neolithic cultures do in around the world. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and like it, and I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. And we talk about all kinds of different things. So thanks again. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for